Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm sure I'll see you at one of these events again
All
soon.
time, we got Mark with the Mindful Reality podcast, who I've been a guest on, and it was a blast.
Thank you for having me, honestly, and I cannot wait to do it again. We're going to do this again in the future. I just know it. I just know it.
What's up, everybody? Good evening. For those of us who are on the East or West Coast, I guess, because both of those are evening. But for the East Coast, it's later in the evening. And as promised, I'm back. I was working on something before I got on here. I'm probably I'm gonna make more of these hopefully before the next time I go live, but I crack up so much about Mimi's facial expressions that I created some graphics that I'm gonna display that will express where we are in terms of what's happening with the show right now. So there's the bored Mimi. We got the annoyed Mimi. We had the suspicious Mimi. And we had the happy Mimi. I need to add the confused one and the angry one. And there's probably some other ones. I just made this in 2 minutes, so I didn't have time to figure them all out. So currently, I would say that we are a happy Mimi on the Mimi scale right now. Everybody's cool. Everybody is cool right now in the house. Yes, we are at a happy Mimi on the scale. They put up the nominations earlier. The nominations were Cam and Red, as expected. We knew that if Jared, Izzy, Sari, Felicia, and possibly even Mimi, everyone keeps saying that Mimi is under the control of Sari, but we've never seen Mimi with a power of anything. So I feel like you can't really determine whether somebody is under control by somebody else until you actually see them with the power to choose something. And we haven't seen that yet from Mimi. So I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I think she's pretty independent. From what I heard, because I didn't really see much of Jag, I just heard the last that was on the feeds that I was just watching a few minutes ago was Jared and Blue laying in the hammock. And Jared was telling Blue that Jag was going around interrogating everybody. And they didn't take too kindly to that, particularly Sari and Felicia. Like, they were like, why does it feel like you're interrogating us? Because he was going around trying to figure out what's the discrepancy with these votes and and why was I promised that I was going to have some votes, but I was unanimously voted out. So Sari, Izzy, Felicia blaming that on America, and Corey and America blaming it on them. So it's just fingers pointing each direction. And Blue agreed. Blue was like, yeah, Jag plays a little too hard. He's a little bit too intense when it comes to that. Like, he doesn't know how to be. And Jag is very trusting. That's the other thing about Jag. Jag is very trusting and very loyal. And I think that those things are not good for the game. Jared is trying to stir the pot Jared is trying to stir this America pot heavy. This America Corey, whatever you call it. AmeriCorey, Camericon. I think they call it AmeriCorey in the show. And Jared keeps going around telling this story to everybody that he saw America doing her nails or something, and he was like, "Oh, you're doing that for Corey or Camerica or something like that," and she rolled her eyes, and then she was like, "I'm doing that for you." She said that to Jared. "I'm doing it for you," and he was like, "Oh, so maybe it's Jamaica," and he said that he asked her, "Well, what's wrong with you and Corey? What's up with you and Corey?" And then she was like, "Well, ask him." So then he was excited to go tell Corey that story. Also, I find Jag needs to pipe down. He literally was on his way out the door last night. I find these discussions that Corey and Jared have to be hilarious because they'll be like, Corey will be like, "I had an argument with Jared," but if you look at them on the feeds, you can't tell what's an argument and what's not an argument because everything they talk about seems to turn into an argument. It's not like an intense argument where they're yelling back and forth, but they just disagree on so many things, the two of them. And sometimes I think Corey feels that he dumbs himself down to talk to Jared because he'll talk to Jared. He'll be like, yeah. But really, he's like this in his head. Really, that's him in his head getting annoyed. Because then he'll talk to Izzy and he'll be like, "Dude, Jared like thinks he like knows everything. Like, but his takes on the game are terrible. He has no idea what he's talking about. I just don't understand where he gets this from." And then Jared will run around and be like, "I was talking to Corey and bro, Corey was like, bro." The thing that I have seen Jared doing the most of in this house, in this HOH position, is playing this game of telephone. And one thing, they're cutting a lot out of the feed, so I can't really tell 100%. But it seems like this plan of the Cerise side to split up Cam and Red seems to be working. Because at first it seemed like, I was thinking to myself, Red's a pretty smart guy, so it doesn't matter if excuse me. It doesn't matter if Jared tries to spin it to him and be like, "Well, Cam offered you up." I really want to see when he actually talks to Cam individually. That's kind of what I have been waiting for. Because they keep saying that Cam and Red are not interacting the same as they were previously. After Jared was like, when Jared told Red, "Cam has offered you up and said he's willing to put you up. He's willing to help him get you out." And they showed this scene after the NOMS ceremony of Red crying and being comforted by Sari, which is more points for Sari. I know that there's a human side of Sari, and I know that there's a game side of Sari. The game side of Sari has me like this on the Mimi scale. Cracking myself up. I'm probably gonna have like 20 of these by the time the season's over or more. There was other ones I was thinking of. I just couldn't find the pictures fast enough before my live was supposed to go on. So there was something else I was gonna. Yeah, so Cameron and Red seems to have this unbreakable bond because they sat in the HOH room talked for hours, and even before they were in the HOH room, when they were in the have not room, they just, we're a final two, we're a final two. But Cam keeps talking now about, I'm willing to do whatever I need to do for the sake of the game. Like, I'm here to win the game. I love being here with my friends, but I'm just trying to win that money. Yeah, it's a quiet night so far. Oh, I don't think I have a calm one. Let's see. Yeah, that's why I put this one up at the beginning. This is where we are today. This is where we are today on the Mimi scale. Nothing happening. Chilling. We're halfway in between that and this, to be quite honest with you. I'm kind of bored a little bit currently. I was very interested though in all the different conversations they had all day, but now I'm a bored Mimi on the scale because the last thing I was watching was Blue and Jared on the hammock. Speaking of which, Blue and Jared are still on the hammock. Oh, I wonder what Jag is saying right now. Speaking of Blue and Jared on the hammock, Blue and Jag seem to be playing this game. Jag, I'm not as surprised about because I feel like Jag already was playing this game, but he just attached himself to the wrong group, unfortunately, and has paid the price for that, right? But I felt like Blue was not playing the game. And then once America made her privy to all that information about Sari and Izzy and Felicia and Jared, even, she started playing the game because I saw them laying on the hammock earlier, and she's asking him, so what do the people think of what's happened today? Is what people like Sari and Felicia and Izzy, like, what do they think of everything that's happened today? And I'm like, that is not a random question. You are trying to get information, because I saw earlier she has been doing a good job of downplaying her relationships with America and Corey, especially America, downplaying her relationship with America to Jared. Jared thinks that America is on the outskirts. Jared thinks that Corey is on the outskirts and that they have a group that functions without needing those two. But meanwhile, Blue is trying to secretly form a group that includes Jag, that includes America and Corey and Matt, and he's on the fringe. So he's like fifth on her alliance scale. And I guess that would put him in similar standing to where she is, because I don't think, at least as of now, I don't think that she's above. Well, I don't know. I can't even say that because I know that he would jump at a chance to get rid of Izzy. But by default, because Sari wants to keep Izzy, because she keeps telling him. Izzy knowing the secret is such a big deal. I'm looking at America right now, and she does not look. She does not look terribly happy for some reason. But it's a quiet night. Everybody's just laying around, chilling. I guess they had all their conversations earlier. I was heavy on the feeds earlier from, I think, about 2 p.m. until maybe 6 when I hopped on live earlier. About 4 hours that I was just nonstop watching the feeds. Jared is a used car salesman, and that's the way that I view the man. Jared is used car salesman to me. Like he could for sure sell me a car. But if I was around him for 100 days, he couldn't sell me anything. I'm a person who listens very intently, observes very quietly, figures things out. So I think I would have Jared figured out in a week. But if we went to the car dealership and I had to figure him out that day, I'd probably be walking out of there with a car. Because what he did was he sold multiple stories to everyone who came into the HOH room. Everybody has different strategies. I don't know if this was a planned out strategy of his, but if this was Sari in that HOH room, she would ask questions. What do you think of this person? What do you think of that? What would you do next week? Or what would happen if this person won HOH? And she would listen. She might throw some things in there. Jared's strategy is like this. Cam comes in the room. Well, no, let's say Red comes in the room and he's like, well, there's something that I wanted to tell you. I've been wanting to tell you this because I trust you and I respect you. So I just had to tell you that Cameron said that if I need somebody to go out, he's willing to sit on the block with you and for you to go to be the pawn for you to go out the door. What do you think of that? Or Corey will come in and he'll be like, America was talking about you around the house, right? She was saying such and such and such and such and such. Saying everything okay with y'all? Or America comes in and he'll be like, Corey said this and this and this to me about you. What do you think about that? So Corey is an agent of chaos. And he's the type of person who, if you don't feel secure with your game plan and with your relationships, he's going to muddle things up. And the thing with being in that house, logically, you could be like, well, Jared's not working with me. So I can see why Jared would say something like this about my friend, partner, whatever you want to call them. But then there's a seed of doubt that goes into your head. And you're saying to yourself, because you don't know every conversation. That's one thing that I will say that I've always agreed with Jared on. If you can't trust me, you can't trust me. I actually understood when he was upset that they had that decision to get out Blue, not because of the decision to get out Blue, but the decision not to include him in that. I actually understood what he was saying. You have to lean on the trust. I think even Corey said that when he was talking to Jared earlier. You get to a certain point where you have to be able to trust your people. So trusting your people does not mean that you're going to know every conversation, that you're going to know every single thing that they ever say about you, and that they're never going to talk about you. Because in a game like this, you have to talk about people. Because I heard, if you listened to the conversation that Jared had with Bowie, he was talking about, oh, this is the order. I have to get this person, then I have to get Sari, and then I have to get this one. I have to get that one. He throws her name in there, and she probably throws his name in there in other conversations with other people to make it look like they don't have a final two. So your name is going to be out there. And that's why I said I think Sari understands that better than most, because the rest of them, when they hear that a friend or an ally or a showmance person mention their name, they get in a tizzy. They get really, really upset. They get really upset. And they get really suspicious. What's up, MILF man? They get really upset and suspicious. So in this type of house, Jared's brand of play actually seems to be working because they don't seem to do a lot of fact checking. They're in their feelings a lot. Planting those seeds of doubt all over the place has been working for him. And he's kind of telling half truths at times as well. Not even necessarily telling the whole truth. He's telling half truths. So not too much is going on for tonight. I think I caught all of you guys up on everything that was going on in my live earlier. Hopefully some stuff starts popping up, but I think that I'm going to call it an early night, at least for this. And I will be back. It depends. If I have a lot to talk about in the morning, I'll pop up in the morning. And if I don't, I'll wait till evening so that I have an accumulation of things to talk about. And with that said, this is not me saying I'm bored, but this is just the yawn face, because it's time to call it a night. Thank y'all for your support. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel for when I drop some more great content. Take care, y'all.
So you literally were one of my very first followers. And then when you followed me and I, followed back, I was like, this dude is cool. Like,
if they say talk to your manager, you just say, you know what, talk to the hand. You don't need to be on my podcast. But yeah, dude. Yeah, you do a great job.
Thank you. I always get a kick out of talking with you on Patreon. You have a really good, view on everything.
That wasn't planned.
You know what?
Thank
But
you.
I like this Canadian.
Well,
I like this one.
Well, thank you.